Okay, hi there folks. So I wanted to do one final review on my Obsession Lawless bow. I've conducted a couple of reviews in the past on it when I first received the bow. I discussed things such as the draw cycle being very buttery smooth, which is notorious for all of Obsession bows. I mean, this is considered their fast bow, their fastest bow in fact. And you expect a bow that is this fast to draw the bow back and hit that crazy hump that just about dislocates your shoulder before you come to the valley and hit the stops. But that is not the case with this Obsession Lawless bow. As a matter of fact, when I drew it back, I had to let the bow down again. I'm saying, wait a minute, there's no way I just drew 70 pounds back on this bow. But yeah, true to its form, it is a fast bow with a draw cycle that you will not believe until you draw the bow back. As a matter of fact, everybody that asks if they can draw the bow back, and the ones that I do allow, and I'm picky about that, they were kind of shocked. They were very surprised the bow draws so smooth. So one of my favorite things about this bow, which really totally took me by surprise, is how well the bow points. So I have a couple other Obsession bows that I really do like a lot, and you know, they point well, they shoot well, you know, I'm very content with them. But when I first drew this bow back, I put the pin on the dot, you know, anywhere from 20 yards up to 100 yards, and I'm amazed at how well the pin just sat there. I mean, there was none of the moving around and trying to get the pin to get back up into the dot that we do with target pin. None of that occurred. I draw the bow back, and bam, the pin's sitting there. And I'm like, whoa, well, okay, I guess I'll squeeze the trigger now. So anyway, that really surprised me. And that was something I was really happy to find out about this bow. But all that being said, I was finally able to take the bow and put the bow to a real test, which means I just arrived back home a couple of days ago from hunting in Africa. And while hunting there, this bow is I learned that the bow is a killing machine. I mean, I dropped 7 African Plains Games animal down with 7 arrows. I'm trying to think, the furthest that any of them ran may have been 120 yards or less. One warthog that I shot, I mean, when you shoot these animals, I consider them running dead, but in 5 or 6 seconds before they finally do expire, they can run a long way. Let's see, so yeah, I took a kudu, which is a huge animal. I took a sable, which is a huge animal. I took a zebra. I don't even have to tell you how large the zebras are. And a water buck, which surprised me at how large the water bucks are. Those things are massive once you walk up to them. You look at them, you think, well, it's not a really long animal, but when you get up to it, you're like, oh my God, look at the size of this animal. The water buck that I was blessed with happened to make the record books while I was there, from what I understand from the guides. And I took a couple of warthogs. So, yeah, I mean, the bow was punished the entire trip, meaning that we're back and forth through the bush, you know, in and out of the blinds, and throwing the bow on top of the truck and hopping up on the what they call a bakkie, I believe, and which means it's a small Toyota 4-wheel drive truck that we used to see here in the States, except theirs is souped up with a lot of railing and seats built in the back, so you can ride in the back, kind of get a nice view as you're cruising through the bush to your blind. And right now, Africa is so very dry and so very dusty that I was concerned, because I'm thinking my axles, my cams, my wrist, and the HHA sight, man, are they going to keep functioning as they were designed to function with all this dust and dirt all over the bow? With that being said, I can honestly tell you I had absolutely no problem whatsoever. Even when taking pictures with the animals, and I would set the bow down against the animal, and I see the cam was sitting in the dirt some, I would basically pick it up, brush the dirt off, get back to camp that night, shoot the next day. Everything looked good, you know, early in the morning. I'd always shoot 3 or 4 or 5 arrows, head back to the blind. Well, I did this for 10 days, and the bow never let me down. I could not be more pleased with the performance of this Obsession Lawless bow on that hunting trip. So I know we're all getting ready to for the 2019 hunting season. I hope this quick little review helps a lot. Something I did mention before, but I'm going to mention it again because I'm always asked this, is was a bow hard to tune? I literally spent 10 minutes, heck, to be honest with you, probably 5 minutes to get a clear paper hole, bullet hole, with a fletched arrow and with a bare shaft on this bow. And the only other tuning I did to this bow was some French tuning, or some modified French tuning, which is walk back tuning. And I did that just to make sure the geometry of the way the rest was set with the sights and everything was spot on. And I was also a little bit concerned about the brace height on these bows when I first saw this bow and first drew the bow back. I mean, for a fast bow, you're going to have a short brace height. And one gentleman asked me a question online here about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, right before I was heading to Africa. He was wondering if I ever shot the bow with long sleeves and a big thick jacket on. And I said, I'm thinking, actually I have not, because it's like 100 humid degrees here in Georgia, and you couldn't stand to go outside and shoot like that. So with that question, I came on inside that night and I put on a lot of heavy hunting clothes like we dress up in December, and I shot the bow in some indoor targets I have here. No problems. The control cables never make contact with my sleeves or the jacket. Same thing in Africa. Right now, Africa is nearing the end of their winter, which means they have some 30 and 40 degree nights, but their days do warm up to the 70s. But you get to your blind in the morning, it's pretty chilly, so I would always wear a coat first thing in the morning. And I believe I shot one of the animals at least while my big jacket was on. But like I said, no problem with contact with the control cables or the string. Let's see, the bow is tons of kinetic energy. I'm shooting 465 grain arrows, and I'm getting around 306, 307 with my chronograph. Everybody's chronograph is different. I'm not going to get into that big debate right now, but that's plenty fast for a 465 grain arrow. So yeah, all that being said, if you're looking for a bow, I have to honestly highly recommend the Obsession Lawless or any of the Obsession bows, because I also have the FX6 and the Obsession FX30. But couldn't be happier with the performance. This is one true review that I can say that was more than just tuning the bow and shooting in the backyard. The bow went to Africa, it turned into a killing machine, dropped 7 animals for me and 7 arrows. So, I mean, what else can I ask for? It's all right, guys. Good luck hunting this year, and have a good one.